Hey guys, it's me, Toxic Free. Welcome. So, anyway, today's video, I want to talk about something that I've experienced. Now, I've been thinking about doing this video for a long time, but I watched something the other day that's given me a boost to do it a little bit sooner. Now, those of you in the UK, you might have seen Des documentary about Dennis Nilsen. Basically, I don't know if anybody in the USA or anywhere else around the world has heard about Dennis Nilsen. I'm going to just read a little bit from Wikipedia because I'm not very clever at remembering things. I'm getting a little bit old now and my brain is turning to mush. Dennis Nilsen was a Scottish serial killer, a necrophile who murdered at least 12 young men and boys between 78 and 83. He was convicted at the Old Bailey. He served 6 counts of murder. Basically, what he used to do is cut up his victims, flush them down the toilets, and also he used to boil their heads. No, it's not nice. No, not nice at all. I'll put some pictures of him so that you can see who it is. Yeah, he was just the most disgusting person, but very strangely interesting. So if you do get to watch anywhere, watch it. It's pretty good. But anyway, I digress. Let's get back to the subject. He actually complained about the drains being blocked, so I do think he wanted to get caught. But the people he would take back to his house, I want to talk about one man in particular. He was called Carl Stotter. Now, again, what happened is he met Dennis Nilsen, got back to his house, and to try and cut a long story short, got him drunk, tried to strangle him, tried to drown him in a bath. So Carl had basically been drowned, but he'd come around. And what happened is Dennis Nilsen had actually given him mouth-to-mouth and brought him back from the edge of death, basically. He then got him dried, kept him warm in bed for 2 days, and then took him to the train station. Carl then went to the doctors because of the fact that he was having a sore throat and he'd hurt his neck. The doctor actually said to him, "It looks like someone's tried to kill you." But Carl tended to put it to the back of his mind. Now in this programme there's a clip of the actor playing. Now I don't know if these were the exact words, but these were the words that made me want to make this video. I'm going to read them to you. "At first I thought he was helping me," Carl told the court, describing how he woke from a drunken sleep to hear Nilsen whispering, "Keep still," as the zip of his sleeping bag tightened around his neck. Passing out, he came around in a bath with Nilsen trying to drown him. "I thought to myself, you're being murdered by this man. Is this what it feels like to die?" Why Nilsen then revived him, later walking him badly injured and disorientated to a tube station, Carl had no idea. "That's what I don't understand," he said, trembling under Nilsen's cold gaze from the dock. "Is he my murderer or my saviour?" And that very sentence there gave me a cold shiver and obviously triggered me back to the video that I was thinking of making, because that's what narcissists, covert narcissists, tend to do. Now obviously we've got the narcissist that plays the victim, we've got the narcissist that plays the hero, but the situation that I had, obviously you get the complete confusion as to who this person is that you're dealing with. A lot of narcissists will do that. They will play the abuser and they will play the saviour. Now, going back onto my experience, my ex-boyfriend, I knew him for 20 years as a friend. Now, this is how he got to playing the saviour and playing the abuser. He would basically hurt me mentally. He would play mind games, manipulate me until I had lost the plot. Until maybe he'd done the silent treatment, he'd left me for a week, because he'd always say that, "I'm leaving you, don't contact me for a week," and he'd leave me at home, torture me. And then when he'd finally decide that he needed his supply, he would call me as my friend. Let's call him John. I won't call him by his real name, and I won't call him by the name I used to call him because I've grown up a little bit since then. But he would ring back as John my friend, not John my boyfriend. And that was the weird side. That was what he played. He played two people. See, John my boyfriend was the hero that wanted to help me. But John my boyfriend was the one that was torturing, manipulating me and making me sick, making me crazy, making me feel like I wanted to die. At my bottom, most worthless point in my life, I actually wanted to die. And I've said this in old videos before. And he would watch me and he would keep poking me until I got to that brim. And then he'd call me as John, my friend, and tell me, listen, this is your friend calling. This is. Okay, I'm going to have to say his name at some point because it kind of. We used to mess around and put the word ski on everything. I'm off ski, bye ski, see you later ski, and we were stupid like that, right? And he would always have the word ski on the end of his name. So obviously it wasn't John, but I'm going to say that. He would say, this is John Ski. It's your friend John Ski. It sounds really stupid now when I say it. It wasn't John. Anyway. And that's how he would get back. He would come and see me as John Ski, my friend. He would cuddle me as John, my friend of 20 years, who wanted me as his friend, who didn't want to lose me as his friendship. But then what would happen is I would obviously melt in his arms, and then it would, before you know it, we were back as a couple. And then he would hurt me, and then he would come back as John Ski again. So he was playing my abuser and my hero. And what it was about was the fact is that we all know you get withdrawal symptoms when you're given so much love and adoration and you think that you're the most special person in the world and it's taken away from you. You get the withdrawal, you get the pain, you get the hurt, you get the confusion. And what happens is when they come back and give it back to you, it's like having a plaster put over your wound. It's like having the flame soothed by, yogurt. That's a stupid thing to say. But it's like having your pain soothed. And that was like the trauma bonding. That was the bit that I found was the best. It's like best part of breaking up is making up. And that's what they do. And they will leave you and come back, leave you and come back. But he would come back as John. And he would also say things to me. My ex-wife is going to come and smack you. And my ex-wife is going to come and attack you in your shop. But I've told her not to. And it would be like, oh, bless you, honey. Thank you so much. She said, I've told her and leave you alone. And I don't know if this was true, but that was also validating his love for me and making me feel that I was being protected by this hero. The fact that he was telling his wife to leave me alone. His stepdaughter was going to come and bitch slap me in my salon, and I didn't want this in my shop with my clients there and everything, and I didn't want it anyway. And then he'd say, no, I've told her not to do it. So he'd be forever... Obviously, it's triangulating at the same time, but I don't know if half of it was true, whether he just made it up. And this is how he would be with me. And this is when I watched this Dennis Nilsen, and he said, I don't know if he was my abuser or my saviour. The cognitive dissonance in your head is just so screwed up because you feel that love, and then you feel that hate. And then you want that love back because you don't want to feel that pain anymore. And just going back and forwards, it does absolutely screw with your brain. But that's what he would do. He also said to me once when I thought I had cancer, and he'd ignored me for 6 weeks whilst I had this what I thought I had. And then when he finally got back in touch with me, he would tell me that he had told his ex-wife that if I had cancer, he was staying with me and he was going to look after me. And again, my hero. I don't even think he said that to his ex-wife. I don't even know if his ex-wife knew anything about me. You look back, you don't know what's true or not in these kind of relationships. But he would make up these lies continual, always saying, I'm going to look after you. I love you as, your friend. I'm your friend. I'll always be your friend. But then as soon as he got back into the boyfriend, it would be the boyfriend that abused me. But the friend that would soothe me. Anybody watching this who's been through this kind of situation, comment below and let me know if you've been there with a situation where they'll come back as a friend, or they'll ring you up and say, look, I just want to be friends, but I need to talk to you and I want to be with you. But then next minute they're abusing you as a boyfriend again. And it was the fact that he actually validated the friend, and that it wasn't just, it was really strange. And I'm starting to waffle. But that's what they do. They will play both. And that's how it went on for a long time. A long time, until he called me a sociopath on Facebook. And I've said this before. I googled it and realised it wasn't actually me. Although I had played my part, I had reacted and I had screamed and gone crazy sometimes because of what he was putting me through. There's obviously a starting point to make you feel this way. And obviously he told me that he was worried about me because he thought I was mentally ill one day. And because they tell you these things in a very loving way, because I think he was my friend John when he told me this. It's Johnsky here. I need to speak to you. I'm really concerned. I'm really worried about you. I'm like, what's happened? What's wrong? Oh, I don't know how to say this. I don't know how to say. I'm like, what? Oh, I think you're mentally ill. I'm like, okay, whatever. That was the, and when somebody wraps something up like that in love and tells you I love you so much, I'm worried about you, that's a way of getting in your brain more, because you tend to accept it. If you're having an argument and you're screaming obscenities at each other and he's shouting F off, you crazy bitch, you know damn well that he's probably saying it just to hurt you. But when they sit you down and they hold your hand and look in your eyes and they say, I'm really concerned, you know I love you, you know how much I love you, I think you're crazy, I'm so concerned, I think you're mentally ill, it's too much. So they're playing two parts. Now I just want to that's what I wanted to say, and I hope you've understood. I'm looking at the time because I know I've gone off a little bit when I start talking about my own experiences, but I do think that's what they do. And that's maybe what Dennis Nilsen did. He wanted to maybe save a few people so that he looked like a hero, and that maybe people would be softer with him. It's like a narcissist, they're nice to one person, and I've just done a video before this where they're nice to one and they're nasty to the other, but it doesn't show who they are by looking at them. David Tennant, he played Dennis Nilsen, and he was an identical match. I tried to actually record bits, but I did a test and I got copyright, and it wasn't actually going to get played anywhere in the UK because it's quite a new thing, so I couldn't put any clips on this video. I don't mind being copyrighted or monetizations being taken off, but the fact that it wasn't going to be played anywhere in the UK, I was thinking, well, what's the point? Nobody in the UK can watch my video. So I scrapped that. But if you do get to see clips on YouTube, they're all over YouTube. Dennis Nilsen and David Tennant, well, he did a very good job of playing him. But yeah, narcissists will also play the victim. Narcissists will play the abuser and the hero. They will abuse you and then soothe you, abuse you and then soothe you and come back. But the fact that he could play two parts, it's as if he took the blame away from him. He didn't have to say sorry for hurting me, because he came back as my friend and my friend would never hurt me. It was very strange how he got away with hurting me. If he'd have come back as him, he might have had to apologise and explain himself. But because he would bring me up and he'd say, listen, I love you, I miss you, you're my best friend, I've known you 20 years, this is Johnsky here, I want to speak to you, I'm so sorry. And it was the weirdest thing. I might go into this a little bit more detail. I'm trying to remember bits and pieces as I go along. He'd sit next to me on the sofa and just hold my hands and stare at me. But the funny thing is, when you went to go and kiss him, because obviously when you're making up you want to have a kiss, he didn't kiss me. And narcissists don't generally do that kind of thing because it's emotional. So I think the fact that he was pretending to be my friend and want me back as a boyfriend, but then as soon as I wanted that emotional side where you get that connection, he would push me away and say, not yet, we're not ready, let's slow down. He was the control freak. There's so much involved in narcissist abuse that you don't actually realise. And that, again, like I said in my last video, that's why there's thousands and thousands of YouTube channels, thousands of victims and survivors watching us and watching these channels. And that's why I wanted to make mine, because if I could just help a few people, I'm happy. But it's weird. So they do play the hero and the abuser. And it's having someone to hold you. It's having someone to hold you when you're in pain and you're in that black hole. And then my friend would come round and hold me and tell me it would be okay. Pain would go. But as soon as he turned back into the boyfriend, it came back. Weird. It's funny how things do trigger you. With watching this Dares, it did trigger that, and I thought, no, I'm going to do that going to do that. So I hope this helped you. Please put some comments below if you've been through this type of thing where you've been, you know, in this kind of situation. It was very, very strange for me because I'd known my ex, the narcissist, I don't like saying my narcissist, the narcissist I'd known since I was 20 years old. So we had this past, and that was the past that he would also dangle. And I would also want my friend back, because to lose 30 years, 20 years, I can't count, I told you, of friendship because your relationship was cocking up. So I would keep wanting to keep the friendship, and you can't. You can't be a friend with a narcissist, guys. So there you go. Just want to let you know. And that's what happened with me. And you look back and you think, wow, I can't believe that person that adored me and loved me turned into what he did. But they do. They do. And we have to accept it. We have to take the denial away. We have to stop denying ourselves and thinking that, you know, it's us. It could be us. But whatever's happening between a relationship, if you know you're not happy, if you know it's going wrong, don't try and box it into something. Just try and walk away and find one that does make you happy. Because I used to always think, even if it is me, even if I was the one to blame, the relationship's not working, so I need to leave that person because we're clashing. There's something within our personalities that just don't match. And if that's going on with you as well, guys, just leave somebody if you're not happy. Life is too short. Life is far too short. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and again, if you do want to watch more and you want to get notified, if you just click the subscribe button, and I'll hopefully see you in the next video. Take care, guys. Love you all. Bye.